All right, welcome everybody. So today I'm going to walk you through a new control that was just recently released for Nintex Workflow Cloud Forms. It is the new address control that you see listed at the top here on the left-hand side. You'll see I've already placed one on the canvas here for the form. Now, what's different with this control based on maybe how you've had to capture addresses in the past with Nintex Workflow Cloud is you may have had multiple different text boxes on the form where you captured the address, the city, state, the zip, etc. With this control, it does use the Google Maps API, and it will actually, once the person starts to type their address in there, it will make suggestions, and they can select their address from the suggestions that are there. So it kind of cleans up the form a little bit. Just keep in mind that it does rely on you setting up a Google Maps API account where you can get that API key. That is not something that Nintex provides, so you will have to set up your own account there with Google to get your API key. And depending on how busy these forms are or how many different forms you're going to use that address control on, there could be an additional charge from Google to actually use that API. So just kind of keep that in mind. You'll want to kind of review that in when you go to set up your Google account and decide if you want to use this control or not. So the other piece that we have to do on each form that we want to use this address control on, you'll have to go to the settings page here and you'll see the section for location services, and we're just going to toggle that switch on. And then right here is where we're going to enter our Google Maps API key. And then you'll see right underneath that little tooltip there, make sure when you're creating your Google Maps account that you set up Maps JavaScript and Places API. You enable both of those inside the Google Maps API account, and then everything should work okay. So I'm going to place my API key in there, and then we'll get down in and show you how this works. One second. All right, so I've placed my API key in there, and then what we're going to do, let me just preview this form here real quick, and you'll see now if I start typing, it starts to pull back addresses and make selections based on, as I started to type there. I do live in Arizona, so it will start local to kind of where you're at, based on your browser settings. And, like I said, it does work across the U.S., across the world. So you can type in for, addresses like Australia or London, wherever they might be, and they will all work just fine. The information that gets returned might be a little bit different. If you're searching for an overseas address from the United States, it might return a little bit different information. But we'll take a look at that here in just a second. So let me run into and do our workflow testing here, and we'll show you kind of what we get back. So let's go ahead and we'll just fill out this form here. Again, very simple form, just for demonstration purposes here. So if I type an address, and let's just select one here, let's just grab this first one. We'll submit, and we'll give that just a second to run. And now you'll see here's our information that gets returned from Google. Now these fields and stuff like that, this is how Google returns the information. So there's not something that we can control on our side. That is how it is returned from the API. So you'll notice you have your street number, the county, state, country, city, zip code, etc. as you go through. I did place a legend in the blog post that I created as well. If you, like I said, if you're searching a overseas address, you may get some information back in the sublocality level 1 and 2 and the subpremise here. For the addresses in the United States that I tested that on, I didn't see any information that came back in those. But if you're searching like I said, an overseas address, you might get some information back in those as well. And then what you do get, and let's take a look at this log to instance details action here. So you can see I've just basically logging all the information that gets returned. And that comes back in our start event from the form here. So if we go back to our form variables, you'll notice we have a new object for address there. And if I open that up, here is all those things that I was just showing you that get returned when that API runs. so you can take any of that information and use it however you see fit. So if you maybe submit that address information into a line of business system like Salesforce or SharePoint or something like that, you might want to break that out into address, city, state, zip, everything like that. So you have the ability to do that here. If you wanted to submit it as just the formatted address, you can do that. You have formatted and description. The formatted address includes the zip, the description does not. But other than that, you can break that down if you need to, or you can use these if you're going to do document generation, and maybe you're generating a contract or an NDA or MSA or something like that, and you want to have that address information posted in the correct boxes on the actual form that you're generating using document generation. So you do have the ability to take all of that information and break it out how you see fit. But yep, just wanted to take a few minutes, kind of walk you through the new control that just recently rolled out. I think it was last week, so you should have access to that. Again, just keep in mind you will need to set up your own account at Google to get the API, the Maps API key that you'll need. And also keep in mind that depending on how much usage you think you're going to have with the address control and the form that you're placing it on or forms that you're placing it in, there could be an extra charge there from Google to actually use that API key. Other than that, hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you.